What's up, SNA fans? This Super Ninja Austin back here with another video, and this is the wrestling news video. Like every single day, where Super Ninja Austin's going to be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know from the Fightful article on January 22nd, 2024. And we're going to start off today with some being the Dark Order news now on episode 9. Watch substitute Dark Order episode 9, and it says right here onto this article, Eva Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds react to the Young Bucks return. And here's a video of it.
Some other time. Join the Dark Order.
What are your thoughts, and what are you guys' thoughts on the Dark Order having their own YouTube show calling it, instead of being the Elite, being the Dark Order? Since now the Young Bucks are not going to be making their videos, making their show no more, at least at this time. What are your thoughts on the Dark Order making their own version of this, with this hilarious video of trying to get in, try to meet with the Young Bucks in their locker room, but they failed trying, I should say, to say the least. But let me know in the comments down below. We're gonna move on to the next wrestling news on Fightful. And it says right here onto this next upcoming article. Come on. Okay, next up we got some R-Truth news with him saying, I had 5 infections in my knee along with MRSA what's that staff, their cousins, their cousins, brothers and sisters. R-Truth was almost forced to retire because of a brutal infection following his tour quadricep back in November of 2022. During a match with Grayson Waller on NXT, Truth would suffer a torn quadricep muscle that would end up keeping the former 24/7 champion out of action for a year. He would make his return to WWE at Survivor Series 2023 and has been working with the Judgment Day since. While speaking to Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp in recent interview, R-Truth would discussed the injury, revealing that he not only had to deal with a torn quadriceps muscle, but also also a serious infection and a hole in his knee. He said, the part of the injury that I would say was questionable was it got infected and there was a hole in my knee. Oh, yeah, I had a hole in my knee. See people there. Uh, see, see people thought I just tore my quad tendon. It was an infection. Went. I went like really 3 months. I I re- like 3 months like without even bending my knee because they had to get the infection under control. So mentally and emotionally, once I got past that stage, I was pretty much ready for the rehab, the rehab, rehabilitation was like a cakewalk. I was really I was really for that when you're hungry and you're thirsty and you want it, you just go get it. You're thirsty and you want it, you get it. You go get it. Truth would also explain that he had concerns he would have to retire from the ring, but said that he needed to be his own cheerleader and continue to put himself to get back into the squared circle. He continued, yes, oh yeah, concerns out the yin yang, because you gotta think I had 5 different infections in my knee, along with MRSA staff, their cousins and brothers and sisters too. Yeah, you're thinking that. I thought all those all those thoughts, all those thoughts, I felt all those emotions. That's where it comes from. I really, I always tell people you have to be your own cheerleader. Sometimes, sometimes you gotta push yourself. Yeah, you gotta shake your own go pom poms. Sometimes I don't even know that was PG, but uh, something you gotta mentally disciple yourself or mentally stay real, true, like to yourself, because sometimes motive sometimes I motivation I don't be there. Life can send stuff your way. Make you stay what like stay real, stay true. You know what I'm saying. The motivation don't be there. Life can send you your motivations. Ain't ain't there like decide this discipline, my bad, discipline, and just having that faithful and knowing man. Now you, now you see me now. Elsewhere in the same interview with Fightful, Truth said he and the Miz's chemistry was still there, like after over a decade of not tagging together. But what are your thoughts on our Truth? Uh, um, our Truth's admitting, comments about his torn quad injury, and it wasn't just a quad injury, and there was also a infection on his leg. Let me know in the comments down below, and yeah, and and all I'd say, I'm absolutely glad that he that he didn't lose his leg because of this infection, and I was thinking like, no wonder that he haven't been in action in a whole for a whole he haven't been in ring action for a whole year because of it. Like when and I oh like now I see like where and now I no wonder we haven't seen him been in ring action for a whole year because of it. Like which the last time we saw him in a match was against Grayson Waller on November 2022 against NXT. I mean, against Grayson Waller when he was on NXT at the time. When Grayson Waller was in NXT, and then WWE put him on NXT, like for to be in an angle with the Aussie icon. Yeah. But now I'm glad we have him back, and we can finally see him in back in ring action and on television on be on television, and he can do his comedic spots, especially do his comedic angles. Except this time, be with the judge, be in the comedic angles with the Judgment Day. I'm trying to be first trying to join them, and and then now he's claiming he's a part of them because he thought he defeated JD McDonough, which that would give him the opportunity to join the JD faction. Yeah. But yeah, let's move on to the next news. And yeah, I'm glad that nothing bad happened for Zoe. And that will cause him to retire. No choice but to retire. And he's still wrestling like if he's still in his prime, like over a decade ago. But let's move on to the next wrestling news now, and that is you got we got some Chris Bay to face Kevin Knight in a singles action on January 25th, episode TNA Impact. New bout has been added to Thursday's episode of TNA Impact. The match will see Chris Bay challenging Kevin Knight in a singles bout in the midst of a lengthy reign with the TNA World Tag Team Championships with his ABC partner Ace Austin. This will be the second singles bout between Bay and Knight in TNA Impact Wrestling. Bay picked up the win in the first bout, which was taped in June 2023. And there's the post right here on TNA's official X account. And then continue to say this. Fans can see the updated lineup from Thursday's episode of TNA Impact below. says Kazuchika Okada and Motor City Machine Guns with Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley will take on the System's Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards, along with his wife Alicia Edwards. And we got TNA Knockouts Women's World Championship match with Jordynne Grace taking on Trinity for the championship. And then we got Nick Nemeth taking on Zachary Wentz with Trey Miguel on to his ringside. And then last but not least of this news, of the one that's headlining the news is Chris Bay and Kevin Knight. And it says Fightful will continue to update fans as more matches and segments are announced for the show. Furthermore, Fightful will have full coverage of the show as it airs beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. And what's your thoughts on this pre-taped Impact episode of Impact Wrestling that's going to come on this coming Thursday in 3 days from now? And who thinks going to win either of these matches? Let me know in the comments down below. And I think I heard one of these matches were, I did heard that there's going to be a debut of another former ex-WWE wrestler, which I never got a chance to talk about that yesterday on the wrestling news. Which I hope I can find that here on Fightful's article. But before I do, who do you think it's gonna be? Let me know who you think it's gonna be, and is it gonna be from somebody from the budget cuts from Endeavor back in September 2023? Comment down below. But anyways, and I also heard that Trinity lost this rematch, and she even had a perfect send off of saying goodbye to the TNA Impact roster, which it could be a sign that she could be returning to WWE as Naomi at the Royal Rumble. If plans, if that's the current plans, that's accurate, but secretly. But that's secretly, what's that? Those plans are like secretly not unannounced, I should say. Yeah. Like, at least not until this coming Saturday. But again, yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on to this matter. We're going to move on to the next one, and it's some AEW news about Daddy Magic Matt Menard thinks Daniel Garcia has earned an AEW TNT title shot. No rankings needed. Daddy Magic Matt Menard wants the best for Daniel Garcia, like if he's literally his son. Okay, I'm just kidding about the last part. But anyways, Daniel Garcia has become a fixture on AEW Saturday Collision while he struggled through the inaugural Continental Classic tournament. He has now picked up 3 big victories like in the last month, and for Daddy Magic, that is enough for him to have earned a shot at the TNT Championship. While Menard recently said as much on commentary during the January 20th episode of AEW Saturday Night Collision, he has now taken to social media to campaign for Garcia, adding that there is no need for the newly reinstated rankings when it comes to this decision. And you can see it right here saying Saturday nights belong to DG. Three huge wins in 30 days. No rankings needed. Give him the TNT title shot on AEW Collision. Here's the post right here on his official Twitter account. And do you agree with Matt Menard? And should they give him the AEW TNT title shot? And do you think they're going to give him the shot? Or do you think they're not? Or do you think they're going to give him anyways? Or do you think anyways? And do you think that it's too soon for him to get an AEW TNT title shot? I would say not exactly. Like when it comes to them not really paying attention that much, but about their ranking system. But it could be different. They could go back as what they were a few years ago, and then you have to wait until we start gaining the more wins. But I gotta admit, he's been getting nothing but wins ever since coming to ever since being on AEW Collision. Like whether if it's on what if it's this past Saturday or the week before, that. Like from the past month, he's been getting nothing but wins. Like what if it's against Brody King, and then now what's his name, Buddy Matthews, even though it was by DQ, but sometimes like DQs can add as a win, like whether if the title's not on the line or if it's a special stipulation. Yeah, again, comment down below on what your thoughts. Maybe I think they should give him a title, and that doesn't mean he should absolutely automatically get that opportunity. That doesn't mean he should automatically get the opportunity of winning the championship. At least not yet, until they build him up to that point, because they need to do like some kind of a success story on him, with him going through obstacles with nothing and building himself back up and start winning more matches and finally become a champion, a singles champion. Like that should be the story of his of the young 23-year-old star, which I believe he's 23. But yeah, give me y'all's opinions in the comments down below. But anyways, let's read this right here. A TNT championship is currently held by Christian Cage, and his former best friend Adam Copeland is hot on his tail, like trying to get another crack at the gold after briefly holding it at AEW World's End. Daniel Garcia recently inflected on his ups and downs on screen, saying that they mirror the roller coaster ride AEW as a promotion went through in 2023. But let's move on to the next wrestling news. We got some very interesting news about WWE 2K24 now, because both Triple H, Zelina Vega, and Bayley, and Mia Yim, and more others reacted to WWE 2K24 news. And it says, on Monday, January 22nd, 2024, which is today, a lot of new information was revealed about WWE 2K24. The game will feature the 3 cover athletes in Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley will be featured on the standard edition of the game, while Bianca and Rhea will be front of the center on the cover of the deluxe edition of the game. Furthermore, to the standard edition of the game is set to launch on March 8th, while the while the deluxe in 40 years of WrestleMania edition uh, of the game will launch on March 5th. Many many superstars and personalities from from around the world of wrestling took to social media to react to the news. It says, and it says right here from a post on WWE's official X account, introducing it by him saying, introducing WWE 2K24's cover superstars Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley uh, w, in the WWE games. With Triple H reacting to this tweet, saying, "I'd I'd say Cody Rhodes and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley becoming WWE Games cover stars is well deserved, but that would be a massive understatement. Congratulations three to three game changing superstars that have earned the right to be the faces of WWE 2K24. You can see it right here on these tweets on Twitter, which that's going to be they're going to be the three cover stars of the new WWE 2K24. And does this convince you guys of buying your first copy as soon as it start launching onto shelves in your local stores in March of 2024, which will be less than 2 months from now? Let me know in the comments down below, and they also post the WWE and WWE's official WWE their official WWE Games X account also tweeted this saying, like we like we uh like we live 40 years of body slams, championships, and unforgettable icons in WWE 2K24, which is talking about celebrating 40 years of WrestleMania, which you could probably they're probably going to have WrestleMania modes of 40 greatest WrestleMania matches from the past 40 years. And we got Bailey reacting to this, with her posting an image of her looking on her phone, saying with her probably saying she's very excited. I don't know what that means, but but yeah. And Zelina Vega also reacted to this as well, saying, "Wow, incredibly deserving. I'm so proud of them, man." Right here on top. And then we also got, last but not least, we got Mi Chin reacting, saying, "So happy for them," which I think they do deserve to be on the covers. On the covers for the fact that they did some game changing moments in their respective divisions. Well, Cody, I'll say for Cody's side, I think he got one more thing to do so he can be complete, other than winning the United States Championship, of course, but also winning and becoming the WWE champion, which I think at this year's WrestleMania, next to The Rock, the top two guys that should beat Roman Reigns for the undisputed. But mostly, I'll say number one goes to Cody, yeah, because for the fact that he wrestled him last year and trying to finish the story, but he came up short thanks to distractions of the bloodline, including Solo Sikoa, because he was so close of winning winning the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship with Solo Sikoa spiking him down and him getting speared. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what if you think this could be a sign that he's finishing the story. And I gotta hand it to both Bianca and Rhea Ripley, like of them making a huge impact in the women's division, winning women's championships, like in the main roster, like right and left. Well, Rhea Ripley only got like 2 reigns, but she still make them work. Like with her defeating what's her name, Asuka at WrestleMania 37, while Bianca defeated Sasha Banks, and then we also had Bianca Belair in the following year. She defeated Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at the Night One's WrestleMania, while Rhea Ripley, the year after that, she defeated Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39 last year against Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. What she's currently holding is the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and Bianca Belair was holding the Raw Women's Championship. She successfully defended the title against Asuka in the very same year last year, and remained in this Raw Women's Championship, bringing it to SmackDown. But losing to Asuka, turning into the WWE Women's Championship. She eventually won the title back like 2 months and a half later, until losing it right to Io Sky by cashing in her Money in the Bank briefcase. But yeah, again, let me know in the comments down below and what your thoughts onto this of this cover of WWE 2K24. And we're going to go on to the next wrestling news, and that is, and we haven't seen co-star covers of a WWE 2K video game since 2K20 with Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch. Before Roman Reigns was the tribal chief, of course. But anyways, let's go to the next news, and that is some Ivy Nile news. And it says right here, Ivy Nile reflects on being an alternate for 2023's Women's Royal Rumble plans to win the match in 2024. Ivy Nile hopes to make her Royal Rumble run for the first time ever in 2024. Ivy Nile is brand new to the Monday Night Raw roster, having recently joined the Red brand alongside Julius and Brutus Creed, even though that makes her Royal Rumble inclusion all the more likely. She has yet to be officially announced for the women's Royal Rumble. Nile actually has experience with being on the scene for the Royal Rumble, cannot actually get the opportunity to enter the Tenular Battle Royal. In a recent interview with Battleground Podcast, Ivy Nile confirmed Fightful Select on the Fightful Select report from 2023 that she was an alternate for the Royal Rumble match. Now she's hoped to make that walk down to the entrance, and into the chaos herself in 2024. She said, "So this is another cool thing. I was an alternate last year. I was NXT, and I was brought to the WWE Royal Rumble to be an alternate, just in case something happens." She said, "So I was there last year, just watching and observing everything. This year, I haven't been officially announced, so I don't know for sure, but I hope to make that run. And do you think she will make that run, or do you think it's gonna be somebody else like a Becky Lynch or Bailey, perhaps? But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. But I think I heard about that last year. She was an alternate and a back like an understudy. Like if anything happened to any of the main women that's going to be on the card, she one of the 30 women that's going to be on the card, she could fill in that spot. Which no one didn't really got injured, like at least not when they were wrestling inside the Rumble in the ring, which Rhea Ripley won that year's Royal Rumble, and also that and and also there was plenty of NXT women's wrestlers like from the likes of Roxanne Perez and Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell at the time. Zoe Stark and Indy Hartwell were NXT at the time, but they got caught up from the main roster. I mean, they got not caught up, not just at least not just yet, not until the draft for 2023. But they were in the match along with the former or then that time current NXT Women's Champion, and also who else? And also, yeah, and you got some returns like from the likes of Nia Jax and Chelsea Green, which we can see to this day. Well, like Nia Jax didn't came back until like October of that year or October of 20. I think it was October of this past of that year in 2023, where Chelsea Green made her stayed and since then, like which this will be her second Royal Rumble match since in a row since she's been back, and yeah, and we're gonna see her probably gonna last for longer than 5 seconds, but this but she's still gonna be eliminated in my opinion. But back to this news story, Niall would go on to say that while some in the Rumble, such as Nia Jax, may think that she will be in an easy elimination, she actually considers herself to be like a spider monkey and will do anything that she can to avoid elimination. And she added, watching the people who think I'll be an easy elimination, like a Nia Jax or someone of these big girls that are in there who think they are going to look at me and be like, she's an easy elimination. Let's throw her out. Little do they know I'm like a spider monkey. I'm going to hold onto the ropes or become dead weight where you can't even pick me up. Oh my gosh. No, I'm either going to be the winner or I am going to be the final 5 or 4 3 whatever. Like, no, I'm not going to be in easy elimination at all. And I would agree with one thing what Ivy Nile would say about this, that she's not going to be an easy target and she's not going to be an easy elimination. It's going to be a very tough task. I would say I could see her being on the last top 5. I'll say the last 5 in the match. Like I would say the top 5 women that could be at the end of the match, I can name name them right here right now. Say it could be Ivy Nile, and it's gonna be Ivy Nile and Bianca Belair, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and maybe Sasha Banks. Like if she ever makes that return, at least for a one-off at the Royal Rumble. Like I could see them being the top 5 women to be the last one in the match to see who's gonna be the last one standing to face either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky for their respective championships. Like whoever's going to be the winner. Yeah. But what's your top five on the last five that are going to be in the Royal Rumble? The last two, I would say Becky Lynch and Bailey, Tropicana Bailey, which I'll say that will be extremely ridiculous, like to say the least. I got to be extremely like pick her over one of pick like someone like Bailey to over Bianca, but she'll probably do something slick to eliminate her out of the ring. But yeah, that's but this is my prediction. It may not happen this way, but I'm just brainstorming an idea like what could happen. Like we could see anything happen. Like never say never. Like though, I wouldn't fully doubt like if Ivy now did win like somehow, but at the same time, I just not see her winning this Rumble. I'd say maybe next year or the year after, like when she's starting to grow more and more in the main roster and become that star, become that star that WWE is looking for. But then again, she could prove me wrong, and she could win the Ivy Nile could prove me wrong and win the Royal Rumble and face either Ripley or Sky for either of their women's championships. And we're gonna have to wait and see in the next 5 days, yeah, because this coming Saturday and today's Monday, and anything could happen at that point. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below and what your thoughts on who could win the Royal Rumble. Which my predictions on Becky, but it could be either Bianca or Bailey. We'll just have to wait and see what's gonna happen next in the upcoming women's bout. Yeah. Which anything could happen at this point. Yeah. But yeah, and also we could see some like returns or debuts from NXT like what's her name? Like Thea Hale, Tiffany Stratton, even Lash Legend. Like even though she's not much of the star, you have like any kind of star power that earn her a Royal Rumble spot, like a spot at the Royal Rumble. If you guys know what I mean. But I couldn't doubt that. And same with Kiana James and what's her name and Fallon Henley. And we can see returns like the likes of Trish Stratus, Lita, maybe Molly Holly, perhaps, maybe Victoria. What's her name? Mickey James. Like you never know because her husband. After all, her husband's is on SmackDown as their general manager, so she could make at least a one-off return. And we could see Naomi, which is now known as Trinity on TNA Impact. But who knows? She can make her return, whether if it's a one-off or a full-time move to and return back to WWE. And alongside her friend Sasha Banks, which she's going by Mercedes Moné, we could see who else could be in the Royal Rumble making their return. We're just gonna have to figure that out this Saturday, along with the men's Royal Rumble. And I wouldn't be surprised in the men's Royal Rumble, match. We could see some debuts like what if they're from NXT or from another promotion. Like I wouldn't be surprised even MJF perhaps pops up out of nowhere. Like Maxwell Jacob Freeman, then some fans might think he did make the move to WWE, but that could be just the one-off appearance, like for the fact that he's a free agent and he just agreed to make just a one-off appearance reaction. And even being in an angle with Cody Rhodes during the match saying, "Roller Coaster Cody, like, do you remember me? It's me, Maxwell. Like, did you miss me?" And then Cody Rhodes is like, "Oh Lord, yeah." That's what he would probably be looking like in this reaction by seeing the Salt of the Earth making it to the Royal Rumble, and we're making it to the Royal Rumble, and we could perhaps see like X-Pac or or we could see what's his name, the Hurricane. We could see who else? Who is that? Or even Andrade. Yeah, we could see Andrade in the match as well. Like he can be in the Royal Rumble match, and he could even make it to the top 10 list, like along with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, and who else that could be in the match? Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and much more. Yeah, that's gonna be in the top 10. That's gonna be in the Royal Rumble match. But yeah, again, let me know in the comments down below and what your thoughts. Give me your prediction either way. But it says, but no, we're gonna move on to the next one. Moving on to the next news, we're gonna go. We got some Bailey names, Candice LeRae and Sarah Del Rey in the Canadian Ninjas as her early career influences. Yeah, Candice LeRae names a few stars that inspired her early on her career. I would say Candice LeRae, like I would believe that because for the fact they're both from California. Well, even though Candice is from Anaheim and Bailey's from uh, San Jose, that's right. But anyways, at this point in her career, Bailey is a 15-year veteran in the world of wrestling. The majority of that time has been spent in WWE, where she has won countless amounts of championships in big matches. Before arriving in WWE, though, Bailey under the name Davy Davy Davina Rose, sent a number of years on the independent scene, wrestling in promotions like Shimmer and Big Time Wrestling. While speaking to Under the Ring podcast for a new interview, Bailey was asked if to name a few people that were influences like to her early on in her career. She named I would say Candice LeRae. She was the only California girl at that time, so I remember seeing her and just being like, man, if I can wrestle her and get over to Southern California, that would be really cool, and I could learn a lot. Sarah Del Rey was a big one when I first started watching Shimmer DVDs. It was the Canadian Ninjas who were so awesome. I loved their character stuff, and I loved their timing in the ring, and I just loved their personality and everything. It's por 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 Portia Portia Perez and Nicole Matthews. Lorray and Bailey have shared a ring in WWE on a number of occasions in recent years, mainly in multi-person matches. Furthermore, Sarah Del Rey and Portia Perez are now retired, but Nicole Matthews is still active on the independent scene to this day. Many fans are predicting Bailey to win the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble can see in an updated entrant list for that bout. But what's your thoughts on this latest news from this interview on Under the Road podcast with Bailey admitting that women like Candice LeRae and Nicole Matthews and Portia Perez and Sarah Del Rey were her inspiration of being the Californian girls that that made professional wrestling more relevant than it more relevant for the women today, I should say. Yeah, excuse me. And do you think that Bailey's going to be being an influencer for the next generational women that trying to get into this industry of being a women's wrestling star of their accustomed, I should say, yeah, which I believe she would in a way for the fact that she's a multi-time women's champ, even though she's she's not doing much nowadays, well, at least not yet she was back 4 years ago, but she could be like that very same women's star, if she can be rebuilt into the women's division and not being a afterthought or an outcast of, if you know what I mean, considering the Damage Control is teasing that they're going to kick out the creator and the leader of the group that very first made the team in the first place, I should say, yeah. Which that will probably happen on the post show SmackDown. I would say maybe either the post show SmackDown after the Royal Rumble, if she won the Rumble or not, or it could be when she's trying to make that decision, if Io Sky continues to blame Bailey for costing her in her matches, whoever she faced, whether if it's Bianca, Michin, Zelina Vega, or even Shotzi, perhaps, she'll be trying to continue to blame it her failure and losses on her, which that will make her kick her out of the group, and this where she attacks her along with Damage Control, beating her down in a 4-on-1 disadvantage, which that would lead up to her choosing Io Sky instead. And this is where Dakota Kai will come in, and this is where she will be she'll face her at Elimination Chamber. She'll be like, if I beat you, Bailey, then I'll be added to the match, which will be making it a triple threat 3-way match, which will be Bailey and Io Sky. That'll be Bailey taking on Io Sky and Dakota Kai in a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts onto that matter. And do you think that will happen? Only time will tell. Excuse me. Let's move on to the next news, and that is some Shelton Benjamin news now on Gunther reminds him of Randy Orton, and this is what the Gold Standard had to say about the ring general, but with Shelton Benjamin comments on Gunther's reign, with Gunther became the longest reigning WWE Intercontinental Champion of all times at the end of 2023, surpassing the Honky Tonk Man's previous reign of 454 days. Shelton Benjamin had the longest reigns of the 2000s, holding the title for 244 days. Speaking on the Kurt Angle show, Shelton Benjamin was asked for his thoughts on Gunther, and he said we were different shows. Like, so I never really got to work with him. I hung around with him. We met and chatted, and he seems like a really cool guy. He kind of reminds me of Randy Orton, to be honest, just in his demeanor, his movements, and even his build to some to some degree. The first time I saw Gunther, he was like 100 pounds, heavier, and I didn't see the appeal, but I haven't seen the appeal in a lot of people who turned out to be phenomenal, like like when he finally made it to WWE. He's and stated. I mean, that's they then started. My bad. When I said stated, started. I didn't see the R. He started trimming down. You start to realize this guy is leveling up, so he can belong here. What what they've done with him, what he's managed to do, his look is straight out of a comic book. He looked the part. I don't know him well enough to comment on his uh, personality, but he's always been nice enough to and kind, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, I do. I do feel like I need to go and end that title reign, but that's a different story. While laughing, what he's doing is great, but of the 2010s, I'm still the man. You can't take you can't take the you can't take that from me. I'm the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of the 2010s. I think he meant more like the 2000s. But yeah, live with it, hate it, be mad. There is only one thing that you can do, and that's deal with it. Said Shelton. Gunther and Shelton never shared the ring during their time in WWE. But what's your thoughts on Shelton Benjamin and Shelton Benjamin's comments on the ring general? I should say, yeah, and saying he's a very cool, nice guy, and he reminds him much like a Randy Orton into his in the demeanor of his persona. I would say maybe in a way like with him teaming with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, like his side minions, like how Randy Orton had Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase back in 2008, 2009, and 2010. At that time, for the past those 2 years of him being a tag team trio with or like a trio faction, I should say, as the legacy faction, and we haven't and we have seen him have legendary championship reigns while being in the trio with his stablemates. I'll say that's the only thing I see about similarities. Like Gunther's like that, like here, like on Raw right now with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, with Ludwig Kaiser being like Cody Rhodes in the group, while Giovanni Vinci's like second to none with like Ted DiBiase Jr. And what's your thoughts on Shelton Benjamin saying he cannot beat take the man out of him from his reign is the what's that the longest reigning intercontinental champion in the 2000s era. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think WWE is going to bring him back and he could be the one that could dethrone Gunther? Never say never, but I'm not sure about right now. But it may or may not happen. We'll just have to wait and see what's next for the gold standard. But let's move on to the next news, and that is some Riddick Moss news. As he says, he said, "You can't imagine how much fun my Madcap Moss run was. I could do whatever I wanted." Mike Mike Rellis, formerly known as Riddick Moss, looks back on his time in WWE. Rellis signed a developmental deal with WWE in 2014. He eventually arrived to the main roster in 2020 as he was briefly paired with Mojo Rawley before they split up. Moss won the 24/7 championship and later returned on Raw Underground after he tore his ACL. Moss had a prominent run on SmackDown as Madcap Moss alongside Baron Corbin. They later feuded and split up. Moss won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal back in 2022, but he was released a year later in September 2023. During a virtual signing with Captain's Corner, Riddick Moss was asked to recall the feeling when he first got called up in whether WWE told him what direction he was going. He noted that there was very little direction when he first joined the main roster. He said, "The first time I got called up, it was like very little direction. It was all, it kind of happened to where, long story short, I kind of just got called up because you didn't have anything for me in NXT when I went up that first day. I had no idea I was doing. They were like, you're gonna be with Mojo." Then I was his bodyguard, and then 2 weeks later, I I turned I turned on him, and then we did this really funny shoot in a toy factory, Funko toy factory, and I had basically no direction for what my character was. So I kind of just decided to be in a run a rungus a Rungit 24 a run a Rungit 24/7 champion, and kind of just started saying some of the stuff I would say to promo class as Riddick Moss. It was really fun, and it felt like I was building some momentum. Then COVID hit, and that kind of put a stop to everything for a while. Moss then recalled how he had fun during the Raw Underground chapter. of his career, but he tore his ACL. He stated that he had more direction upon his return as Madcap Moss. Riddick made it clear that he enjoyed this run as it was very goofy. He said, then I came back as Raw Underground's Riddick Moss, and which was also super fun, totally different than what I was doing before. Then, right as that was kind of taken off, I tore my ACL. Then, when I came back later the next time, that was where I did a lot of direction, where that was Madcap Moss. That was a lot of direction, but I still had to make it my own. But you can't imagine how much fun that was. I could do whatever I wanted because it was just so goofy, he said. And what are your thoughts on the Madcap Moss comments of him of him enjoying his run with WWE from the past couple of years, like with him doing the shoots like with the 24/7 championship with Mojo Rawley and Ricochet and them, and then also Raw Underground later on, and they said he tore his ACL, which we haven't seen him like in over a year until he was paired up with Baron Corbin, which he was Happy Corbin at the time. Like when he was just getting done being broke bum ass Corbin, and he broke the jackpot and won so much money that he can buy pretty much everything, which he had Riddick Moss be his royal full right hand man or sidekick, uh, like until they split up after WrestleMania 38 when Drew McIntyre defeated Baron Corbin and and he kicked out of the End of Days, being the first ever competitor to of doing so. And SmackDown before the show of shows, he Riddick Moss won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which he excuse me, and yeah, he was known as the Andrew the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which WWE mistakenly put Andrew rather than Andre the Giant, even though it sounds kind of similar. Except Andre is without the W, Andrew is with the W. But let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on to this. What Riddick Moss Riddick Moss said onto this interview of him having lots of fun in WWE. But it was very unfortunate that him and his wife Emma, which she's going by Tennille Dashwood, I believe, that's a real name, of course. Like, yeah, no longer there because of the budget cuts from the. Or yeah, I'll say not really budget cuts, more like I'll say it's kind of budget cuts, but it's a different kind of cuts. Like for like when they were doing the last minute decisions, like when or not the last minute decisions. I mean the last minute decisions on that side of things, and the last minute mergers of between the stocks between UFC and WWE merging into TKO Group Holdings, I should say. Yeah, like when they finally merged everything together, which I should rephrase that, and they made some last minute calls with them doing some cuts with them and Dana Brooke, Shelton Benjamin, Elias, Mustafa Ali, Top Dollar, and Dolph Ziggler, which they're now on in promotions like MLW, MJPW, TNA, and then for Tennille Dashwood and Mike Rallis, they'd be posting some very interesting traveling images like on their social media page, including on Instagram, and also post videos of their travels YouTube channel. But yeah, I wish them the best for their future endeavors, and hopefully they will find something that will make them happy in their lives, which that will make me happy too, as being fans of them from the past few years. But let's move on to the next wrestling news, and that is some latest AEW news as they schedule Adam Copeland taking on Minoru Suzuki, like a preview of his match with him on January 24th, 2024. I mean, January 24th, 2024. AEW Dynamite, grit your teeth. Copeland has a lot to say ahead of his upcoming dream match to be the exact, with Minoru Suzuki. The first time he faced the Japanese legend, when Adam Copeland defeated Dante Martin on the January 20th edition of AEW Saturday Night Collision. He remarked that so far no veterans had stepped up to face him in the Cope Open Challenge series of open challenge matches. He's been participating in that all challenging in. That all changed when Copeland steps into the squared circle with Minoru Suzuki on the January 24th episode of AEW Dynamite. In in the first in the first of in the first of these open challenges to take place on Dynamite, pre previewing previewing the match in a digital exclusive following Collision. Copeland remarked on the sheer incredible nature of this match even take place, and said that he expects it to be a hard hitting affair. He said, "I started the Cope Open Cope Open for a few reasons. One, to prove to Christian Cage what I've always told him, which is that I'm just better, and I am better because I work harder. I have more work ethic. Ethic. I wanted to see who would step up to the challenge, who wanted it, who would come face to face with me, and it so far, Griff Garrison and Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin. Now someone who has stepped up. I wouldn't have expected it. Expected. You ask any wrestling fan 5 years ago if they would have ever expected that they see this match that's gonna happen Wednesday Wednesday night in Savannah, Georgia. Dynamite. We'll see on AEW Dynamite. We will see Minoru Suzuki versus the Rated R superstar, superstar man. Me, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. We are gonna beat the hell out of each other. Two Grizzlies, like gnarled evil bastards, beating each other up, and I can't wait. Suzuki, I know what you're gonna bring. I hope you know what I am gonna bring. I'm gonna sum this match up. This 3 words for all of you: grit your teeth. and we have a video of it with him saying this on this video when AEW posted on their official X account. And here's the video of it right here.
For a few reasons. One, to prove to Christian Cage what I've always told him is that I'm just better. And I'm better because I work harder. I have more work ethic. I was wanting to see who would step up to the challenge, who wanted it, who would come face to face with me. And so far, Griff Garrison, Lee Moriarty, Dante Martin. And now someone who's stepped up. I wouldn't have expected. You asked any wrestling fan 5 years ago if they would have ever expected that they'd see this match that's going to happen Wednesday, Savannah, Dynamite. Minoru Suzuki versus the Rated R Superstar. Man, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. We are going to beat the hell out of each other. Two grisly, gnarled, evil bastards beating each other up, and I can't wait. Suzuki, I know what you're going to bring. I hope you know what I'm going to bring. I'm going to sum this match up in 3 words for all of you. Grit your teeth.
And what are your guys' thoughts on Adam Copeland's message to Minoru Suzuki and into his video exclusive from AEW Dynamite's website and their official Twitter page? Do you think that Adam Copeland's going to win and remain this undefeated Cope Open Challenge series? Or do you think Minoru Suzuki is going to be the first one that's going to defeat him in this Cope Open Challenge? Let me know how to successfully get a W out of the Japanese legend. And I'll say this is the absolute dream match. I would never thought I would see a match like this. See someone like Minoru Suzuki taking on Adam Copeland. Like, this is huge for this coming Wednesday's Dynamite, or this Wednesday, I should say, because Wednesday is in 2 days from now. So I would say, like, in 2 nights from now, I cannot believe this is going to happen on AEW television on free TV. Well, unless you have to pay for cable, like YouTube TV or your local cable company, or even if you're near the TBS TV station, I should say, yeah. Like, and then I would say, then you have to pay for it. It's going to be free TV. That who's going to be victorious in this dream match? Which I'm very shocked from just reading it right now. I'm like, wow, like Adam Copeland against Minoru Suzuki. This is out of the blue. Which I think that's the first match that's been announced, which we're going to probably hear some more in the next couple of days. But next up, we're going to move on to the next wrestling news, and that is WWE Super Show from Jackson, Mississippi on January 21st, 2024. Which is all AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, and Becky Lynch and more in action. WWE held a Super Show on January 21st from the Mississippi Coliseum in Jackson, Mississippi, which the card was with the likes of Kairi Sane and Asuka and Io Sky of the Kabuki Warriors, Damage Control, taking on Becky Lynch, Shotzi, and Michin Mia Yim, which they defeated the 3 Japanese members of the Damage Control faction. We also had Omos with manager MVP defeating Akira Tozawa. We also had the Creed brothers, Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, defeating Imperium's Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. We also had Ricochet defeating Jinder Mahal. We had a street fight match with main event Jey Uso defeating Damian Priest with Dominic Mysterio. We also had Nia Jax defeating Ivy Nile. We also have the phenomenal AJ Styles defeating Solo Sikoa with Jimmy Uso in his corner. We also had a bull rope match with Cody Rhodes defeating uh, defeating Shinsuke Nakamura. Well, what's your thoughts onto this card? And those who are watching, and did you went to this show, and especially the Mississippi fans? Like, did y'all went to the show, and how was it? Please make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. We're gonna move on to the next wrestling news, and that is next up. We got some Daniel Garcia news now, and it says right here, Daniel Garcia's AEW arc resemble my character. I arc over the past year. And this is what the former Ring of Honor Pure Champion said. It says on the recent arc of his character mirrors the recent trials and tribulations of of all elite wrestling, I should say, with the full proper name of it. As a motion, Daniel Garcia was once viewed as somebody who was going to quickly climb through the ranks of AEW in 2022. He defeated Bryan Danielson and also captured the Ring of Honor Pure title. In 2023, Garcia went through an identity crisis, and during his participation in the inaugural AEW Continental Classic tournament, he struggled to get a victory until the very end of the league competition of the competition, when he defeated Brody King. While speaking with Adrian Hernandez, Garcia reflected on how his character's ups and downs reflected the identity crisis AEW faced in 2023. He said, "It was great. I feel like AEW was in a transition period over the past couple of months," he said. "It almost resembles my character arc. AEW's arc resembled my character arc for the past year. Everybody knows my story. I was transitioning from a pro wrestler and then become a sports entertainer. I was stuck in limbo between being a sports entertainer and a pro wrestler and finding my way. I feel like that was the past 6 months of AEW," he continued. "AEW kind of went away from its roots for a little bit and was seeming a little sports entertainment dish. Then the Continental Classic fully brought it back into a pro wrestling product. Sports based product with the the promos and competition based around matches. I'm a fan of a very stripped down product in wrestling. The Continental Classic brought that back to AEW. It was bare bones. These people are competing for this super easy to follow, super easy story. It was a shot in the arm. It, we needed, and I was glad one started doing those backstage interviews after I did it. I'm I'm not trying to say everyone is copying me, but I definitely think that was the catalyst for Daniel Garcia. Also recently discussed tribalism among fans, among wrestling fans, I should say. Garcia will team with FTR against the House of Black in a steel cage elimination, a six-man steel cage elimination match on the January 27th episode of AEW Collision, which will be the same day as the Royal Rumble. And if you haven't heard from my last previous video from this past Saturday, unfortunately, I won't be doing an AEW Collision review until after until the day after the show, because I'll probably have too much on my plate with the Royal Rumble, which I'll probably will do an AEW Collision review on Sunday, which will be the first time I'll do a review on Sunday, even though the show was on Saturday. But since this coming Saturday will be a special one, it'll be the third biggest pay-per-view of the year of WWE, which will be the Royal Rumble, which will be 30 men and women gonna compete in a match to see who's gonna face in the men's side, face either Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins for either the Universal Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw, or the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship on SmackDown. Which, if it be someone like Cody Rhodes or The Rock, I think they're going to go to SmackDown and face Roman Reigns. But if it's somebody like a CM Punk, he's going to Raw against Seth Rollins for this World Heavyweight Championship. And then for the women's side, I would say if it's going to be Bianca or Bayley, it's going to face Io Sky, despite what Bayley said about facing Rhea, because I don't think she's going to face Rhea Ripley. Because even if she did, she'll be squashed. She'll be an easy squash. But if it's somebody like Becky Lynch on Raw, they're gonna face Rhea Ripley, definitely. That's the number one girl, that's gonna face the Eradicator, I should say. Yeah. But yeah, let me know in the comments on what's your thoughts on who exactly is gonna take on either the Tribal Chief or the Visionary or the Genius of the Sky or the Eradicator. We're gonna have to see in the next upcoming pay-per-view who's determined they're gonna face their opponent at the Showcase of the Immortals. But let's move on to the next slide, which is Kevin Kelly says he wouldn't rush Kazuchika Okada when it comes to TV presentation. And it says from the AEW Collision commentator from Kevin Kelly, and this came from the AEW Collision commentator Kevin Kelly, discusses how he thinks Kazuchika Okada should be presented on television.